for this part I decided to do a little bit of a voiceover, and just to show and talk about the pictures that I have on here. But anyways, this is when the frame was, everything was out the frame. We were trying to do the brakes there, but we couldn't get them apart. And it's just showing the motor still in there on our really fancy jack stands. I mean, it worked, but we gotta do. We got to get some jack stands though. We can see the frames all scuffed down. Just a few more shots before we actually took the motor out and everything. But all we did, my dad did with the frame was just scuff it down. It wasn't that bad at all. So, which is surprising. Those are the tires and rims before they were cleaned up and repainted again. And the fender pan, that's after I pressure washed it. You can see how much loose paint there was. And as well as all the other stuff there. Here's the Onan after we took it out. Even has the original starter on it, which is pretty cool. Here it is again. That thing actually wasn't too bad to get out, like everybody says. It didn't take that long. There it is back in with the frame painted and the firewall foam put back in. And we put the rims, or the tires, back on, obviously. There's another picture of it. It actually looks pretty good here. It's starting to look like something again. A little bit more. Just painting the frame made a huge difference in the rims. And there was the fender pan after it was primed. It took a good while to actually prep all this stuff, sandblasting it. I didn't sandblast everything, like these were pretty decent still, so we just scuffed them up really good. This, I sandblasted certain parts of it that were loose. This, the whole thing I sandblasted, because it was pretty bad. As well, I only did part of it, no, I think I sanded that, if I remember correctly. The hood I just lightly sanded, and that actually came out really well, which is nice. And I shot the back side of the fender pan. Yeah, that's John Deere primer. That, the grill was completely sandblasted. This was just partially sandblasted. But yeah, that's John Deere primer, and that stuff's actually pretty nice. And then here's the first coat. Or no, this is the entire coat's a green because we did everything at once. And this was only a few hours after they were painted, so they're still kind of tacky at this point. And everything came up pretty good. And that's basically all for this stuff, so enjoy the rest of the video. Well, this project's getting close to being done. As you can see, the 318's all tore apart and getting pretty close to being back together. As you can see, all the black parts, like the frame is all painted and everything. I hope you enjoyed the pictures. I didn't really get much footage of doing all that because we kind of just kept working on it. My dad was actually mostly doing all this stuff while I was sandblasting the other parts and prepping them. But well, the rims are done. He did them. They're probably not going to look like that forever. Those ones you're never going to see with the weights on it, unfortunately. But about the back side, that's about it. But we've pulled the motor out of it already, and you can see a nice new firewall on here. And we've already had it running since then. Just a one time for about like 2 minutes or something. And I'm glad we did because we actually found out that the this, well, what do you want to call it? This clamp saw is broken underneath because when it was running, it must have been just because this was all oily and everything in here before, and I think this has been leaking for who knows how long. So we got new clamps. I got to change that here, and it's kind of funny. You can actually how nice and clean this all is now. And there was, like I said, there was a good bit of gunk in the frame, and once we pressure washed it all out and primed and painted everything, so it looks much better now, that's for sure. And but the only thing we got to do on this is change, well, the transmission fluid and change this line here because it's pretty bad. So while we're doing the transmission fluid, we're gonna do that. And there's a nice new power steering cylinder on it now. And that took about all the slop out of the steering for the most part. It's pretty much all gone now. Before you could move this thing there's like not any pressure on the system right now because it's been off, not running for a while, and we had to refill the cylinder again, but we had it running for a little bit of time. That was working way better. It has a leak to drop on the floor, which is nice. Most of the play in this was actually up here in the front. It was pretty walled out, and there's a little bit in the back, but not too much. But the nice thing about this cylinder is it's actually got a grease fitting on the front, like the original one, and it's even got one on the back, if you can just see it there. So that's actually pretty nice. I got that from Amazon. If I can find it again, if they still have it, I'll post the link down. Now, if you notice, we didn't paint the motor, and mostly because we didn't really want to take all this off if we didn't have to. And most of it gets covered anyways when it's, in the side panels and stuff are on. We did paint the air cleaner top and all this, but what I'm going to do whenever it actually needs redone, like when the motor needs rebuilt, is whenever we're going to take that all off and do it then. But I figured it looked pretty good. It actually cleaned up pretty well, so that's part of the reason why we just left it. But as you can see, all the firewall foam's all on there, and looks much better. I'm going to probably paint around here a little bit, just to make it look a little better. So, but I guess the biggest thing is from the pictures before this, you saw that we primed it all. Well, now it's all painted. All the hanging parts in here. It's kind of funny, but you can see the floor is pretty green. I wonder why. But we painted them yesterday. It's been about, been about 24 hours since they were painted. So I know you can't really tell from video, but they're nice and smooth and they're really shiny. Everything turned out pretty nice. And this was all done with a HVLP gun. I ended up going that route and getting those instead of spray cans and everything. But for what it was, it turned out way better than I thought. It's not perfect, but it is a tractor. I just want it to look better, and it's definitely going to. So the grill turned out nice. If you remember, this was all chipping and it was in pretty rough shape, but the paint turned out nice. I put hardener in it, so a lot of people recommend that to straighten the paint up and make it shinier and everything. And the hood turned out really good. I was afraid about this because I had no idea how it was going to turn out being fiberglass, but I'm pretty happy with it. There's a few little scratches here and there in it, and between the priming and the primer and the paint, they're all gone. So it's all taped off up here, if you're wondering where the headlights are usually at. I taped it off pretty good. So if you see this hood was so dirty before, I didn't even realize I was here really. This is the date whenever the hood was made. So it was the first, if you can read it, I can hardly read it. It says first shift 11/22 of 89. I thought it was kind of cool. That's why I had a piece of tape over it. It looks kind of weird, but I thought it was kind of cool, so I want to keep that. But that's when this hood was made, so that definitely proves it's a 90 model for sure. So, but the next thing we gotta do is let this dry probably another day or something. It says 36 hours, we'll probably like it a little bit longer than that because why not? And then we'll peel all the stuff off of it and start putting all the stickers back on it. Like on that, just the hood. The headlight lens, we took it in and cleaned it up really good. It came out pretty nice. The same with the tail lights. Right now the fenders are upside down, obviously, but the underneath of this, the top side looks pretty good. I'm just gonna use the spray cans just to do this because you don't see it at all that much. Just to protect it, you can see we primed it and everything. But the underside, or the good side that you see, turned out pretty good for the most part. I just like that it's all one color again and not, a little bit of crap on it. Get off. But it's nice that it's all one color again, and the paint came out good. That's what I was afraid of the most, like I said. But I think once it's all back together, it's going to look pretty sharp. I think it's going to look way better. Better than it did. So, That's pretty much just showing the progress on this. Like probably the next part of the series will be, it's just going to be, I'm just going to do one video, I think. The next part's going to be when the tractor's all back together again, and maybe not well, technically the second start, but probably whenever it's back together and it's driving itself out of here will be whenever I do the ending of this, I should say. So, just wanted to show you, and since like I said, I haven't done any video of anything else on this, except for the beginning, right before it was tore apart. But that was the last time this thing drove itself in here, and it's going to drive itself out looking 300 times better than it did. So hopefully we actually get that plow day. I'm not sure if we're going to or not. It's hard to tell with all this crap going on, but not going to get into that too much. But if we don't have it, then hopefully one of the other shows this year, everybody will get to see it. If not, then we'll figure it out from there, I guess. But I'll say right now I'm all right. Everything's good here. Everybody's, our family's fine. Thank goodness. Hopefully it stays that way. But right now we're all good. We're just taking it one day at a time. Still working. Unfortunately, I wish we had off so that we could have gotten this done a little bit faster. But what are you gonna do? That's the way it goes. So the other thing I gotta do today, which I'm gonna do as soon as I get off of here, is paint the underneath of that, and then tape the heck out of the frame off, so that, because we couldn't get this off, that's why it's still on here. We could not get this knob to turn. We couldn't get this to come off at all. This wouldn't turn, the choke. So I gotta take that off as best as I can, and then we're just gonna paint it right on the tractor. Not really the way I wanted to do it, but like I said, we can't get nothing off. So, but we got the majority of it apart. So hopefully here by the end of this week we'll start getting it back together again. We're gonna take our time with it, make sure everything's working and fitting right. So I got the seat and everything in the house, and got that all put back together. The seat bracket and everything. Yesterday I put new bolts in that so that the seat's not loose anymore, like it was. So slowly but surely coming along. So I'm way happy with how this is turning out. We actually figured out that before I go here, while I'm thinking about it, how the hydraulic lockouts are supposed to work. You push this down so you can free push it around. Well, the one on the far side there, focus. That one over there was actually stuck. You can just see it starting to move. If I pull the tractor back, yeah, there it goes. It goes back up. It's somewhat stuck. We got it unseized the best we could. I'm gonna have to probably get a new one of those here eventually. Sorry. But we don't know what's wrong with it. I've heard that they just get stuck and seized up over time, but like I said, I'll probably end up taking it out and putting a new one in there at some point. But right now, at least it works right, for the most part. If you release it and then you pull it back, I guess enough hydraulic pressure just pushes up on it and it works fine. Before we wouldn't move at all, so. But now if you actually push this, if it's like this, you can, I guess there's no pressure on it because like I said, it's been sitting for a while. But if it was just running, you wouldn't be able to do anything. And then if you push it down, it lets you push it around easily, so. But, starting to look like a tractor again. It looked really funny without the motor in it. I think I got a couple pictures of that, so. Yeah, actually I did. So you should be able to see those before this even. But it looked pretty funny without it in there. We only had that up for like 2 days because we didn't want to, since it gets wet in here, we took it out, painted underneath of it, sandblasted the firewall down really quick. I sandblasted this whole entire thing. And did that really quick and then put it all back in and put that back on. And one weekend, like I said, we didn't want to leave it out too long because we didn't have anywhere good to put it. It was already sitting on the floor and everything, but we didn't have anywhere else to put it. So took it out, then we had to do it, put it back and fired it up to make sure it was good. And like I said, to make sure there's no leaks, which, like I said, we found. So But it's better to find the leak now than later. So anyways, rambling on here like I usually do. I hope you all enjoyed this. And hopefully the next part of this video will be whenever she's all back together again and looks like a new 30-year-old machine. So stay tuned to the next part and see you then. Well, here she is. Finally put back together again. It's been probably a good about 3 weeks since it's been put back together, so I've been kind of slacking a bit doing this, but I want to make sure everything was perfect with it too, so. Turned out a lot better than I actually thought it would. It's actually the second time it's been outside since it's been redone, so as you can see, all new paint, all the stickers. I never actually used to have one of those on here, so all new foot grips. Obviously the wheels are painted, the back ones are painted too, but you can't see them, but what are you gonna do? Put a new power steering cylinder on it so now it doesn't leak, and it actually steers a lot better now, so one of the better things to put on it. Not really too much else. A new grill emblem. I never used to have one of them. Took the lens out, and my mom actually cleaned that off with, I'm pretty sure she just used, I'm not even sure what she used. Cleaned it off, but it took all the crap off of it. Now it's a lot clearer than it used to be. She did the same thing with the tail light lenses too, actually. If you remember, there was paint all along this and along the edges. There's a little bit of paint on the actual lens. There's just a little bit here and there still, but what you do? She did both of them, and they came out a lot better than they were, which is always good. Put a new transmission, whatever you want to call it, for the sight glass, a new hose on there. Because the other one was about ready to dry rot and crack off of there, probably. I mean, it was in pretty rough shape, but you can kind of see the rims are painted on the back side. We don't have the 3-point on it, obviously, right now, but just because we didn't need it. But we repainted that and the front weight bracket too. We figured let's also freshen it up while it's off. There was a lot of overspray of paint on the tank, but from before, but we just shot what you see with a little bit of black paint, just so it looks a little better. But this was all green along here. Somebody just went overspray crazy on this thing. But put the light back on. I got a seat cover now. Got that for, pretty sure, my birthday, and never put on. I still need to put the 455s on, but now I see why everybody loves these things. My phone will fit in here if I wanted to. There's plenty of room in this thing. It's pretty nice. I didn't really want a new seat because the other one was still comfortable, so just put that over it. And I got new bolts for the underneath. This is why my seat was always rocky, but now it's nice and solid. That's why I would always rock back and forth. Put the new bolts in there, and now it's a lot tighter and a little bit of slop to it, but it's better than it was. Obviously new stickers on the hood, all these. I didn't replace any of these ones. I just, this is still the original stop one. But I put a new spinner knob on it, and I put the other one on the 455. This one I liked a little more because it kind of matches a little bit more for this tractor. It matches the, if it stops turning itself. It matches this and matches the grill emblem on the front. So we never did nothing with the motor except for we just took it out, as you saw from some of the pictures, and put a new firewall foam on here. And it wasn't too bad to get this thing out there. The only thing we did paint on the motor was just the top of the air filter housing. I didn't worry about painting the rest of the. Really, the rest of the tins were in pretty good shape actually. Everything under here is done. We painted the hood on the back side too. The only spot I didn't paint was the date of the manufacture of the hood, which it says 11/22 of '89. So I figured that was kind of neat. I'll leave that on there. And you don't really see it anyway, so that's why I left it on there. Really didn't do much else in here. Put the same lights back in there again because why not? Put a new battery in it because the other one was shot. Actually, the last day we brought this, the day we brought this over here to work on it, the other battery was flat dead. It wouldn't even start the tractor up. So I think I got my time and money's worth out of that one, I'd say. But we've been all through this thing. I fixed the hood latch, and now you don't have to push on it so hard to actually shut it. You can actually open it with one hand now. They had it just way too tight. But I'm not sure if it's able to pick up on camera just how like shiny the paint job came out. What we did was we put hardener in it, the paint, so it stunk pretty bad, but it said it was going to make the paint more durable and harder and, you know, shinier, and I think it did. I can't really tell from the screen of the camera right now. It's kind of blinded me a little bit. I can't see nothing on this screen. I'm just guessing almost. But repainted the frame. The frame actually itself wasn't that bad of shape as far as the paint went, but we did it anyways because you kind of have to. Under here, you can't really see much under here, unfortunately. But we repainted all the frame. That was mostly what my dad was doing actually. He was repainting the frame and everything while I was taking care of sandblasting all these parts, which was a job in itself. But I guess we'll go for a ride on it, a little bit around the yard, and let her open her up a little bit. So here we go. it's all done. I think it turned out really nice. Much better than it was. Before it's starting to roll back. Then I put the brakes on. It's about the only thing that needs done still. It just needs new brakes, but we try to get those things off whenever we were actually redoing it. I'm gonna walk back here. We're trying to get those things off when we were actually, first started tearing into it, and well, we couldn't not get them off at all. So, I mean, look at that. Yeah, but we couldn't get the brakes off at all. So, I'm gonna probably take them to the John Deere dealer, and they said they should be able to get them off. So, hopefully they can. But I got them over here already, so. In this bag. I had the brake pads already, but hopefully they can get them off. But I mean, we tried everything. Some heat, but probably not as much heat as we should have. Pry bars, nothing even budged it. So. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you liked how the tractor turned out as much as I do. And also, thank you all for 200 subscribers finally. I never really thought I'd reach that amount, but finally did. And I appreciate every single one of you that keep coming back and watching all the time. And even though I don't, post as much as I want to, but this is the way it goes. But anyways, hopefully you'll enjoy this video, and hopefully you'll be seeing this tractor more in person for some of my friends that will get to see it. It won't be for a while with all this stuff going on, but hopefully sometime this year. So anyways, thanks again for watching, and talk to you all later.